When you are preparing for a PMP examination or project management interview, you may go through two terms called as assumptions and constraints, which is very important in project management. Let us learn what it is and how to use it. Let's learn what is assumptions. As per the English dictionary, you will see assumptions are something which is accepted as true without a proof or a fact. Now, in project management, on the day one, when you start with the project charter, we start recording the high level assumptions in the project. Could be of resource availability, can be an assumption. Approvals from the government or senior folks can be an assumption, or could be of budget allocation, could be of an assumption. So certain things will assume and you start moving on the project, even though there is no proof or a fact for it. Let me quote an example. A couple of weeks we had holidays which went for Christmas, New Year, and in India within a week we're going to celebrate a good amount of festivals. Now you want to do some purchase for this festival season. It could be of dress materials or home appliances. Imagine this Sunday you want to go to a shopping mall and do this. Going to shopping mall, doing a purchase itself a big project on its own. Now there are certain assumptions before you do that. You assume that the mall is open. You assume that the parking slot is available for your car. You assume that the stores are open to get your home appliances or dress materials. These are certain assumptions. What if this assumption goes false? Then it turns into risk. Let's see the same example. Shopping mall not available, big risk. Your family look at you, man, what's up? When you go to the parking slot available, big tough. You go to the store doesn't have the home appliances or dress material, it's not good mood. So point is, in a project, certain things we assume and we move. What if it turns into false? So it is a blocker, Shriram? No, it's not a blocker. But this is the way a management happens. You record these in assumption logs, which can turn into risk. And we start mitigating this risk by preparing in advance. We'll talk more about it. Quickly, I'll move to the next part, which is called as a constraints. Assumptions, I said, which is started from the beginning. Same way, constraints also start from the beginning of the project. But here, one simple thing here or easy thing here is constraints are imposed by project management and sponsorship team. As per the English dictionary, you will see constraints means limitation. So management puts some limitation on the project. They say this is the time you have to deliver it. This is a budget available. This is a set of resources available. So when you have certain limitations, which is true, which is a fact, which is a proof, you have to play within that. So assumptions, which is assumed to be true without a fact. Constraints, it's true with a fact. We know this. Now, both we have to handle. Let me give a little example about for a constraint. The same example where we went for a shopping. Before you go for a shopping, you have a constraint how much of money you can spend there. You have a constraint how much of time you can spend in the shopping mall. So keeping in this mind, you do your project. So in a project management, we will have both assumptions and constraints keep coming in from the day one of the project. So what are the tools available to handle it? You can have an Excel sheet. You can have a web tool. You can have any document. But the very important factor is clear observation with the customer. What are the assumptions you're talking without a proof? What are the constraints which we have a limitation from the management and the sponsorship which you have to record it? Both you keep recording an assumption log and keep monitoring it regularly whether certain assumptions are turned into false. If it turns into false, it turns into a big risk in the project. In fact, when you talk risk management, we pull out this assumption logs to see what are the assumptions that are turning into false. So coming back in this point here, two terms which you learn in PMP and project management, assumptions and constraints. Assumptions are something assumed as a true without a proof, and we have to be cautious about it. Constraints are true in the sense it's a limitation by the management. As a manager, you are expected to keep this in mind while you move in the project management delivery model. It could be of project manager or a scrum master, or it could be predictive, adaptive, whatever model of project you do, these two will stay with you. Thanks for watching this video. Good wishes for your success.